Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome back to Holy Scraps Technique Tuesday, and today I'm going to be showing you how I made this box. And this box holds, I showed this on YouTube before, this box holds my cards that I made that go in the inside. We're not going to be covering the cards today, we're just going to be talking about the box, and maybe next Technique Tuesday I will go over some of the cards that I made. But this is a great little box. You can use it for any type of theme that you want. You can do birthday, Christmas, wedding, baby, whatever you'd like. So obviously we're not going to decorate the front of it, but I will show you actually how I made this box, which is pretty solid. I mean, it's a nice solid box, and it's great for any type of paper or theme that you want to work on. So let's get started. Haven't got that much time on YouTube. What I did was I started with a tissue box, and you can see this is just a regular old Kleenex tissue box. I've had 2 bouts with the cold already, and I have lots of boxes left over. I have them all stacked up because I would like to make some of these for Christmas gifts. So I decided, looking at all these boxes, I'm like, what am I going to do with them? And I decided that I would start cutting them apart and using them for crafting. So, good way to recycle, and I'm really excited about it. What I did was I measured. The measurements are 4 inches in the front and 5 inches in the back of the box. That's the depth that I cut. Okay? And what I did was, you can see on the box here that I measured 4 inches up. I made a mark. 4 inches up on the front. On the other side, I made a mark 4 inches, and I drew a line across. I made a mark 5 inches in the back, up. 5 inches up, drew a line across. And then I connected them. Connected the 2 points. So from the 4 to the 5 inch, that's how I got my angle. And I did it on both sides. And I've got my craft knife, and it's not that difficult. The box isn't really that, that thick that you can't cut through. And I went in through the front, because you can see that's where the plastic, where the tissues come out. So I went in through the front, and I just started slicing along my lines. And you can see a little bit of the lines left there. Sliced right along my line there, went all the way to the back and to the other side, and then it came in half. Now you can even use this other half too if you wanted to. It's a little bit smaller, but not much, only by about 1/4 of an inch. So you can use this one also for another project. But I'm going to start with this one here, and you can see that my cutting is, I mean, it's pretty straight, but not too straight, and I'm going to fix that when I add my pieces on. So what I did was just to kind of get a little bit smoother, I got one of these awesome sanding foamy blocks from Home Depot or any kind of home improvement store, and I sanded my edges just to make sure that there were no rough and everything was kind of even. Like I say, we're going to fix all the imperfections, so as long as they're not huge imperfections, they'll be covered. So you can use a sanding block for that. And that's about it as far as the box goes. The fold is at the bottom, and we're going to paint this, so you're not even going to see it, and we're going to cover it up so you won't see this part either. So what I did was, next I measured this area here, and I don't remember the measurements off the top of my head. I have them written down. I believe it's it's obviously 4 inches up, but I believe across it was 4 3/4, and I wanted to leave a little bit around the edges. You can see here that I left a little bit around the edges for matting. So I did 4 1/4. So these pieces of chipboard, I cut them out of chipboard, 4 by 4 1/2. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 by 4 1/2. And I'm going to put one in the front and one on the inside and the back and meet them up. And when I do that, I'm going to lift it up just above. There's the edge of the box. I'm lifting it up just a little bit just to cover that edge, just because it's not, perfectly straight. And when I sandwich and glue these two together, you'll never know. You'll never see it. And there's my matting around here, around there, and I can slide over a little bit and center it. And that's how I got the box all good looking like that. Okay, so the front pieces were 4 by 4.5, and you have to cut 2 of them. One for the inside and one for the outside. We're going to sandwich. I cut 2 for the back. And this one is 5 inches because it was 5 inches high by 4.5, the same width. And obviously, this one goes in again the same way. And this one, it goes on exactly the same way. You sandwich them in between, and you leave a little bit at the top, so that you're going to cover that that edge in case if it's not perfectly perfectly cut. And once again, there's enough for matting all the way around. And then I did my sides. Now my sides are a little more difficult because you have the angle, so I went by the largest size there, and this is 5 by 3.25. But of course, you're going to measure your box because some of them are a little thinner, not as deep. And this one goes inside, and you can see that I haven't got the angle yet. I went by the largest. If you go by the largest height measurement, then you can draw your own angle. And I'm going to get my pencil and just draw right there. And now I know that that's the angle that I need to cut for my inside and outside pieces of my chipboard. Okay, and I'm going to obviously need 4 of those, 2 for each side. Okay, so I'm going to cut some more chipboard. I need 2 more of these pieces, and I'm also going to paint the box as it is, just like this. I'm going to paint it and pick your colors. Right now I'm using Espresso Adirondack paint from Tim Holtz. I'm going to use the brown for the box. It's nice to use a deep color for the box because then you can see on this one I did black for the box. You can see the bottom is black. And on the outside for the chipboard, I used a really pretty green or aqua color green. And that's what I'm going to use the blue for because you're going to pick your paper. And my paper I'm using is going to be Little Yellow Bicycle Twig. That's the line I'm going to be using, and these colors match great with that. So great to paint your box the darkest color of your paper line, whatever colors you're using. That's wonderful. And then you can kind of lighten up and go on from there. So I'm going to paint my box brown. I'm going to cut 2 more of the chipboard, and I'm going to paint my chipboard. So when I come back, you'll see those. Okay, folks, I'm back. I painted my box. And you want to make sure that the bottom is nicely covered with paint because that's the part that you're going to see, the bottom and the inside bottom. So those areas, make sure they're well covered. The rest of it's getting covered by chipboard, so you really just have to make sure that your edges, excuse me, all of your edges are covered well. Okay, I have my glue gun heated up, ready to go. And I also painted my chipboard pieces. And once again, the ones on the outside are going to be covered by paper. And I've cut my paper also. So those are the 2 outside pieces. And when you're cutting these, especially on the angles, make sure one's going one way and one's going the other. So that they'll sit on the box nicely. If you cut them both the same way, you're going to find out that you did that incorrectly. So those are the 2 outside pieces. Here's the other one I painted. That was the 5 by 4.5. That one's also covered with the paper. And this is the last one. That's the front piece. So those are my outside pieces. My inside pieces all have to be painted. The entire piece has to be covered. Otherwise, you'll have to put paper on them. And on the inside, paper doesn't really work. You want to make sure that they're well painted. And just the one side because we're gluing them on, so you won't see the other side. All right, the way I like to start is I like doing my outside pieces first, and I put my paper on afterwards. And glue gun is the best way to do this because it dries pretty quick, and you're not there holding it forever with, especially with the zip dry. So this one's going right on the front here. Just like that. And I'm using my, this is the cordless glue gun, which is super cool. Except that the batteries wear out really, really fast. So if you ever get one of these, make sure you get the rechargeable batteries. And you want to make sure that this sits really well. And you want to make sure that the top, you can see that, you can see from the other side, I don't know if you can see it or not, that I've raised it up just that little bit from the top. Once again, just to cover the edges. I'm going to pull this down, make sure, press it down really well. And you can add some liquid glue on here on the inside part if you wanted to. But I'm doing this really quick for video's sake. And then this is the inside piece that goes, matches it and sandwiches it on the inside. I don't know if you can see that on the video. So I'm going to glue this one down next. And once again, I'm putting the glue gun, the glue stick all around the edges, but if you wanted to add some zip dry to the center or some other liquid adhesive to the center, it would probably not be a bad idea. I'm going to try and get this done in under 10 minutes for the video. And you can see that I should have flipped this over because now I'm getting brown paint on my blue area. Oops, I'll have to go back and touch that up. Alright, so there's one side, and you're going to do this to all the sides. So there's the back piece there, and then you're going to sandwich it on the inside. I'm sorry, that's the inside piece. This is the outside piece. And these are the next two that get sandwiched together. And then you're going to do that side and that side. And then you're going to stick your paper on. And that's it, folks. There's nothing really more to it than that. So I will do one more, show you one more, and then come back and I will show you, I'll put in a picture of the finished piece. And as these chipboard pieces go on, you'll notice the box getting stronger and stronger. Because these chipboard pieces really add a lot of stability to the box. I guess the box may have still been wet because I'm still getting brown paint on my fingers. This piece gets sandwiched in there. Then you're going to add your paper on. So I will come back and I will show you some pictures of how the box looks finished.